Hello, my name is Jeremy Barnes, and today I'm going to be doing a review for episode 3 of Loki, titled Lamentis. And I'm just going to go through what I liked and didn't like about the episode, probably pretty quickly, so it won't be anything too crazy. Um, so, one thing I liked is right off the bat, the way they started the episode with a good song. I never heard it before, but I liked it. And it started with the opening Marvel Studios credits roll, and it was cool to see that we were inside of Hunter C20, her mind, when Lady Loki was, I guess, getting in there from the end of the previous episode, when they were in Alabama 2050. So yes, that was really cool. And then they also ended the episode on a good song, and it actually fit kind of the setting of the entire episode where it was about the moon, which is I think what the episode is called. I think that's referring to the moon, Lamentis 1, and this is also an apocalyptic event where the planet that it's the moon to is like getting destroyed. So the planet is falling towards the moon. So that's pretty crazy. And just the entire visuals of this place is like crazy. And I think these are probably some of the best visuals in any of the three Disney Plus shows so far. WandaVision was really good, but in kind of a different way. But this honestly might have topped it for me. I hope it continues into the next half of the season. But according to the end of this episode, it seems like we'll still spend a little bit more time here on Lamentis 1. So we'll see if there's anything else that it has in store. But one of my favorite scenes in this episode was when Sylvie and Loki were talking about their moms and magic, and how obviously each one of their lives is different in those regards. And we saw Loki had a trick that Frigga taught him, um, that he could make like little fireworks from his hands. That was pretty cool. And we learned that Sylvie never really knew her mom, so she must have been gone from an early age. And I actually have a theory that maybe Sylvie is a Loki that was raised on Earth, and she might have had like foster human parents, but that's just like a theory out of nowhere. I don't really have any reason to think that, but I think it would be kind of cool. And then on that same train ride that they were on when they had the other conversation, it was cool to see Loki singing an Asgardian song and in the native tongue. I don't think it was in English, but that was pretty cool. And and then the entire like final one shot take action sequence at the end when they're trying to get to the arc, but then they obviously don't make it. It gets destroyed as it was supposed to. But that was just a really cool sequence, and just again the visuals with all the colors and everything was crazy. And we learn in this episode that both Lokis, or at least our main Loki, the one that is working with the TVA, is bisexual. So in film, pink and purple are colors that are used to denote bisexuality, or just I think maybe even homosexuality. So this whole episode was obviously filled with that because Lamentis, the sky and pretty much everything on it is like was all purple. And then when they went into the city, there's also a lot of pink lights as well. As for the things I didn't like, I would say that it was kind of weird to me that they didn't really mention what happened at the end of the previous episode. Like when that happened, it was like, oh shit, this is like a big deal. But then in this one, they don't talk about it at all. So I was like, really? Like I feel like Loki would have asked about it. Like like, what exactly did you do back there? Because he saw all of the bombs and he knew what they were, so I thought he would be curious about it. And obviously, none of them went to the TVA, so he should have asked, like, yo, where did you send them? Um, but I'm assuming we will see that in the next episode because this episode kind of like it was like a detour from that story. So I'm assuming we will get back to it in the next one. And Tom Hiddleston, and I think a couple of the other actors in the show said that episode 4 is their favorite or the one that might get fans like really excited. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. But so far, the show overall for me is kind of interesting because I don't know, I'm kind of like 50-50 on it. The first episode I thought was like the best first episode. The second one, it wasn't my favorite. And then this one, when I first watched it, I thought it was my favorite episode of the show so far. But then on my second viewing, I actually think it's my least favorite of the three. Mostly because I feel like nothing really like happens. Like we just learn a little bit about Sylvie, who obviously we didn't know really anything about before. But in terms of like plot, I guess, like nothing really happens. Like we're at the same place that we were at the beginning when we get to the end of the episode. But we do learn a little bit about the TVA when Sylvie tells Loki that all the TVA agents are variants, which a lot of people had that theory. So that was a theory that has been now proven. So that is pretty interesting, and it makes sense because of Mobius's like fascination with '90s things, and including the jet ski and certain drinks like the Jasta soda. Um, so that's interesting. Like, I wonder if everybody in the TVA were like humans or whatever that are variants, or if it's only like the lower levels, like maybe the judge, like Renslayer, maybe she's not. I don't know, because it definitely seems like she knows more than the others do. But I guess we'll see. And I was hoping that there would be a Renslayer versus Lady Loki fight in this episode, but Loki just like took them out of there, so we didn't really see that. But I'm assuming it is coming up once we do get back there. So I'm excited for that. But I also want to say that I do like Sylvie so far, Lady Loki, and her like dynamic with TVA Loki. It's not quite as good in my opinion as Loki and Mobius, and I actually did miss Mobius in this episode, but I still was definitely entertained this entire episode, and I think her dynamic with Loki is also really interesting and dynamic. So yeah, so that was pretty cool. But I just wanted to add that. I forgot to say that in the other part of my video. That's all I'm gonna say for this review. So thanks for watching. I'll catch you next week, and goodbye.